Hello friends, welcome to this section of this time series tutorial. Today we are going to introduce a new method of statistical prediction that is called SARIMAX. And we'll show you how it is different from ARIMA and where ARIMA fails and where the seasonality comes into the picture and where the SARIMAX can give you the better prediction than the ARIMA model. So let's start. So first thing you may ask, what is SARIMAX? So SARIMAX has the two things special than ARIMA model. It has all the components of ARIMA. It is using all the three orders like P order, the autoregressive order, the D order or the integrated or the differentiation order, and the Q order or the moving average or the error factor on it. And you know these factor. Okay, so like just give you 1 minute brief of the things, how this thing. So a thing in the future is an yield or the influence of the current state, right? Or the history state, okay? The old state and the current state. So t is a function, some function of t minus 1 and t minus 2 and t minus 3 and t minus 4, let's say. So t minus 4 has a direct influence on t, and t minus 4 has an indirect influence on t, okay? So this direct and indirect correlation is called the partial autocorrelation factor, the indirect one, and the correlation factor, it's the direct one. So you should always remember these two things when you are going with ARIMA model or like the SARIMAX model or ARMA model or AR model. This all autoregressive model is having this concept. And that's how the P and Q are determined. So let's proceed with SARIMAX. So SARIMAX has one more component, that seasonal period. It has the seasonal autoregressive specification, seasonal integration order, seasonal moving average, as well as the seasonal periodicity. Okay, how frequent this seasonality happens? Is it yearly? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? So we need to specify that factor as well. So SARIMAX is very special for the data where there is a seasonality and you need to predict that seasonality as well in the future forecasting for data. And the second part is the regression model. It uses the exogenous regression model. So there could be two type of regression model. One is the exogenous and second is the endogenous. So I'll not discuss it in detail here because it's like too much to discuss here. So just I will give you one point here. Exogenous regression model means there is some external factor which contribute to this statistical model. Okay, so let's proceed with our data set. So we have taken one candy production data set. So this data is specially curated to give you the notion of the seasonality where ARIMA is not, performing well, and you can get a better result with SARIMAX. I just copied the data from Kaggle. I have given the link in the description, so you can also download it and start with me. And first thing is I have used the pandas library to read the data, and I'll show you how the data looks like. So this data is actually a monthly percentage of candy production, and it starts from 1972. And let me give you the tail as well. And it's ending with 2017. Okay, so it's like a ratio factor or as a percent of 2012 production. So how you can interpret this data? So like 114% means it is like 114% more than like 2012 data set. Okay, so it's like comparable data from 1972 to 2017 as compared to 2012 production data. Okay, how much good it is, how much better it is, or how much less it is. So let's proceed with this data set. first thing, you know the drill. So what is your date time field? So this is your date time field. And but if you just take the info of this data, you see that data type is object. Okay, so the data type is object. So you need to convert it to date time. This is the first step. And second step, you need to index this field, make it the index field. And you have already one thing done, that is this data is univariate. Only one field depend on this time field. Okay, so this is univariate data set. Let's proceed. So this is how we just change the data type. I have used the same pandas to date time function to convert the data time, and I have inferred the date time format is equal to true. And second is I just use the same field to set index. And third is like I'll show you the data how it look like. So it will not look any different. So but just the observation date is the index field now. Let's proceed. Now we will go and decompose all the characteristics of this data so that you can take a separate look on each of the component. What is the error part? What is the trend part? And what is the seasonality part? So you can see a very prominent trend part and seasonality part. And there is like not so much randomness in this data. So because residual ID is almost nearing to the 0, it has a factor like +10 and -10, but it's okay. But it has a trend part, so the data is increasing, and it has a seasonality, like for every, you can say, for every year, it has a seasonal factor. So the period of seasonality is 12. The periodicity, seasonal periodicity, you can say 12. Let's proceed. So by decomposing these several characteristics of this data, you can see what is the seasonality look like and what is the trend look like, so that it will help you to make the data stationary if it is possible. And you know the drill, that how you can make it stationary. The thing is like, I just get the data log scaled, and I just subtracted the moving average part of a window of 12, like 1 year window. So this is a monthly interval data. So I have taken a yearly average, so subtract from it to remove the trend component. So before doing that, I just check the stationarity of this data by visual analysis as well as the null hypothesis testing. For the visual analysis, I just have used the rolling average and the rolling standard deviation. For the null hypothesis testing, I just use the ADF testing, AD Fuller test. And for that, the null hypothesis is like 0.05. If any, the p-value is less than 0.05, then we will reject the null hypothesis and accept that the data is stationary. So let's see how the p-value will look like. So this is called the Mackinnon p-value. Let's see for the data without doing any transformation on it. So what is your initial set? So let's run this data. So this has two components, just I have explained it. This is the visual one, and this is the null hypothesis one. Let's proceed and check the stationarity of the data before doing any kind of transformation. So you see, as you have observed the trend part in that decomposition, it has a trend part and it has a seasonal, very prominent seasonal part as well. And it has some kind of randomness, but let's see. And this variation of the rolling mean is around 20, right? So from actually 40, 60 to 100. And the moving standard deviation is almost constant, around 20. let's see what is my p-value. So p-value is 0.33. Is it less than 0.05? No, right? So that is not rejecting the null hypothesis. The data is seasonal. Let's proceed and transform this data. So to transform this data, I just use the NP log to get the data log scale, and the stationarity check is done as well. So now you see the rolling average span, the variance is very less. It's near about 1, but it has a very prominent seasonal component. So data is seasonal, right? I could not remove the seasonal part from this data. And let's see what is the p-value. So p-value, is it less than 0.05? No. So it also cannot reject the null hypothesis. So data is still seasonal, not stationary. Let's go and subtract the yearly rolling average from this data and see the stationarity check as well. So now you see the data moving average is almost nearing 0 and it's constant. Same you can say for the moving standard deviation, but the data is having a character of seasonality. Okay, because this data is like varying for a time period, like yearly varying once from a spike to a drift. So the data is seasonal. And let's see what is the p-value. So p-value is very less. So it is less than 0.05, right? So you can say you can reject the null hypothesis and accept the data is stationary. But by seeing the data, by doing the visual analysis, you can see the data is still stationary. So as it is having the p-value less than 0.05, let's assume the data is stationary and do the statistical model fitting and prediction. And see the result. How accurate is it? So to do that, one first thing before doing that, if you don't have the stats model package, you just install it using the pip install, and then you can actually import these packages. Okay. The Arima package. But before going to Arima, before going for Arima, you need to have two things, like what is my P and what is my Q. So to do that, we need to go for the ACF and PACF plot. And if both converges to 0, we can get the P and Q value. And let's see what is my plot for PACF and ACF. So you see PACF and ACF plots are now done and it is converging to 0 here. So this is the factor and you can say it around, you can say 2. So Q is equal to 2 and it converges to, I think here, right? So it converges to 0 here. So P is equal to 2. So this is the starting value. Let's go with it and let's assume D is equal to 1. So you have all P, D, Q value. And now let's go for to fit the statistical model. Now let's go and fit the statistical model, the Arima model with this PDQ value. First, what you need to do, you need to split the data in train and test, and I have given the test size as 10% and train size as 90%. Okay, so this 90% of the data I have given the order 1, 1, and 4. Is it 4? Let's see. No, it is, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's 4 actually. No, it's in between 0 and 5. So it's 2. Okay, whatever. Let's clean it. And this is the start date of the test data, start date and end date to give you the prediction. And let's go for 2 and let's give it 2 and let's run it. So how you can check this the prediction is accurate or not? So you can do 3 things. One is like you can go for the mean squared error, so that you'll compare the prediction with the test data. And second thing is like you can just plot it side by side and see is it matching visually, you can inspect. And third thing is you can check the residual score, how concentrated the distribution around the 0. Now it has run completely, and let's see the mean squared error. So the mean squared error is good, like it is 0.009, so less than 1%. And let's see the side-by-side prediction. And let's see the residual plot as well. So the residual plot is also good, but you see there is a problem in this prediction. So if you just see this red line, it is very like this seasonality factor is absent. It's almost flattened. Okay, so it's going through the average, but it's completely not following the seasonality or seasonal periodicity. So let's plot this same data with SARIMAX. So I just have it captured in my snipping tool, and let's keep it aside. And I will run the same thing using SARIMAX. So I was just given the order 114. I just change it to 212, and again here 212, and I have given the seasonal periodicity as 12. So this is the 12 because the seasonal periodicity is yearly. So I can say it is yearly. Okay, and let's run this SARIMAX model. Now the SARIMAX is run, and let's see this MSE score. It is better than the ARIMA, and let's see what is the plot look like. Now you see the plot is actually following the seasonal periodicity. I just give you the side-by-side comparison. So this is for ARIMA, and this is for SARIMAX. So that's how you can see that if you cannot remove the seasonality, you have removed the trend part, but you cannot remove the seasonality part, though you need to predict the data with seasonality, then SARIMAX is actually give you the better result than ARIMA. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please stay tuned. We will come with the Prophet time series prediction model, that is the Facebook Prophet, in the next video. Thank you so much. Please stay tuned.